Fight and Talk podcast, episode 6, and today I'm joined by former Cage Warriors champion and SBG South Shields coach, Alex Enlund. Hi Alex, mate, thanks for coming in.
No worries.
How you going, you good?
Yeah, really good.
So I see you were down at BAMMA 34 at the weekend, how was that?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good show.
Yeah.
There was a couple of good fights.
I know there was one fight in particular that sparked a bit of interest in one of your fighters with Proctor. I seen this tweet the other day about looking for that BAMMA World Championship shot. Is that something that you think is well within his grasp where he is at the minute?
Going into the venue to watch the fight, I already knew you would beat both of them anyway. Like, we would fight whoever the winner was if BAMMA were willing to give us that fight. And also, like, on the off chance that it's always possible that you lose or you have a bad day at the office. Adam's 22. I'm sure both those guys are older than me, right? That we have so much time to take these big fights and test ourselves, find out how good we are. And like, Adam's got 10 more years fighting professionally in him, at least. Yeah. Right? So how much better can he get?
You touched on the big fights there as well. BAMMA 33, of course, he took on Nathan Jones, and what I think it's fair to say is the biggest win so far of Adam's career in terms of name, in terms of sort of stature. I know Sam Bolt was a big name.
Yeah, I think so. I think because Nathan fought for the BAMMA World title before, I think it was a big fight. And also the fact, I think we only had 4 weeks to prepare for Nathan. We were actually scheduled to fight Kahadza.
Alright.
And Walter pulled out. There was also a lot of things going on behind the scenes which make that win even bigger. I don't ever like put much footage of sparring or anything like that on any form of social media. But Adam, for that fight, I'll show you a picture, didn't spar for the last 3, maybe 4 weeks because of a broken nose.
Yeah.
We didn't say anything. This is the first time I've ever talked about this. But like, it was a good fight for us. Do you know, like, it was one of those. We were originally scheduled to fight Kahadza maybe 12 weeks out.
Yeah.
We had a good strategy. We worked on some stuff based around the way Walter fights. A lot to do with like getting him into the later rounds, breaking his confidence, that type of thing, being aware of his dangers early. And we'd seen the Nathan Jones fight, and I'd watched it several times to watch Walter.
Yeah.
Then he pulled out, and Jude wasn't sure who they were going to get. They were messaging back and forwards. He said, "What about Nathan Jones?" I said, "We'll do that."
Yeah.
Like, the same response I have most times when a fight interests us or has the potential for growth. It's like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, if they'd offered us maybe someone who wouldn't have been a test, or it would have been a walkover, or someone who wouldn't have done anything for Adam's position in the rankings, we might have said no, especially when the injury happened. But I think as soon as we got the bout agreement for Nathan Jones, we took the fight. Yeah. You know, like, you don't shoot, you don't score. Yeah,
especially in the hometown as well. Well, near enough hometown with it being at the arena. What was that like to have your lads out there in front of such a big crowd in the back in, especially Adam? Adam got one of the biggest responses, I think, of the night. Like,
yeah, it was good. It was the most guys from the gym who've ever came to a fight. I think it's the most people who've came to watch Adam, full stop.
Yeah.
I think maybe done 120 to 150 tickets in total. Obviously we had Kurt on as well.
Good win as well.
Kurt sells a lot of tickets, you know, like, Kurt has a big crowd, so I think everyone really got behind Adam. And he's also the type of person that I don't know anyone who can say a bad word about.
No.
Okay, if you think well, he doesn't talk much, but he's clearly shy. Mm-hmm. Do you know, like, he'll say something if he's got something to say. If he hasn't, he'll just listen and smile. Yeah. Do you know, like, it's not he's not malicious in the slightest. I'm just trying to find the picture, but I can't. I'll send it.
Yeah, no.
Like, you can see on the picture, it's clearly crooked.
Aye.
And we didn't need it straightened; it just healed on its own. But we didn't spar for the 4 weeks, and like, he handled Nathan Jones.
Yeah, he was,
like, comfortably.
Were you expecting it to be that comfortable for him going into it, or were you almost not surprised, but?
I was pleased.
Yeah.
Slightly surprised. I didn't think Nathan would crack that quick. So, the way Adam fights and the way most people who are highly skilled fight is, who loses? The first person to mess up.
Yeah.
Okay. Adam doesn't make many mistakes. And when he does, you've seen this in the Sam Bolt fight. So he jumps for a guillotine that he thought was there, and then he ends up on his back, and then he battered Sam Bolt from the bottom.
Wow!
Right? So he's getting to that level where you watch the Aaron Khalid fight. He messed up. He had a really bad fight. I don't think mentally and physically he was at his best then. But it can happen. He's a kid.
Yeah.
He's not now. He's a big man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, he was only just gone 20 when we took that fight, and it was on BT Sports. There was a lot of pressure. And we moved on from that. But the first person to mess up loses. That's what happens at the highest level.
Yeah.
You've seen it with Walter and Colin at the weekend.
Yeah.
Walter was landing, maybe won the first round. But the big mess up was when he just watched Colin work the arm lock.
Yeah.
It's almost like he didn't start reacting to it till it was on, and then his only reaction was to tap. The first person to mess up loses. And Nathan messed up really early. I've seen an interview where he said that Adam was really strong and he'd get tired. I don't think he's seen Adam fight.
No, like...
You know, like, he's doing 15 minutes. Bama do 5-5s and ask us to fight Brazier. We can go 5-5s. You know, like,
yeah.
Adam's never out at the gym. He's had a few injuries. He's trained around them the whole time. He diets 52 weeks a year. It's his life. Do you know, like, it's not even that MMA is life, that he lives a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, he's good to go for as many rounds as he has to go. He's a big welterweight. He's physically strong. He probably doesn't even have his man strength yet. And things are going to get better. We've got him working with, like, we've got a personal trainer who trains at my gym.
All right.
Who's doing all the strength and conditioning and helping the guys with programs, who has 2 world records in powerlifting.
Yeah.
And like,
So,
like we
if
have,
you're going to build on
we
your
have the right
strength,
information coming in the gym. I did all Adam's programs before. I came to uni here actually at Sunderland, and that's where I learned some of that stuff. And then a lot of it was, my whole career has kind of been trial and error, and I've been my own guinea pig for my students. You know, like, there's a lot of things I did in my career I would never let them do.
Do you see sort of elements of yourself in Adam when you were... I know you were different weight. I know.
He's better than me.
Yeah?
He's more well-rounded than me. He's more disciplined than I ever was. And he has a coach.
Yeah. So were you not?
Kind of. I had guys help me. I never had a permanent person until I started training at SBG Manchester, who would be accountable to, like, I was accountable to. You know, like, I worked for a long time with Pete Irvin. Pete Irvin helped me a lot. Pete was a really big influence on me as a fighter, from a standpoint of what he was like as a fighter. Mm-hmm. But I never really had someone who, you know, like, touched all the bases, covered everything, made sure everything I was doing. Like, I brought Stephen in to work with Adam instead of me doing it. Yeah. I then speak to Stephen regular about what's going on and that type of thing. That everything goes through me. Do you know, like? Yeah. I never had that. Like, it gives you a freedom. It lets you just concentrate on the work you've got to do. I was having to plan my own work to the point where sometimes I was having to make sure there was going to be training partners, make sure there was going to be this, make sure there's going to be that.
I guess that takes so much out of you, sort of mentally anyway, when you've got all this other stuff to focus on apart from just training and just fighting. That must...
It did, but that's also in the past. It's made me who I am.
Yeah.
There was so I originally went and trained with Carl in 2005, maybe 2006. It could be even earlier than that. And I thought, I'm going to apply to University of Manchester, so I can come down here and just train with this guy.
Yeah.
And there's parts of me regret not, and wonder what I would have been like and how good I would have been as an athlete if I did have a good coach who can touch all the bases, can teach me strike and wrestle, and then not just that, but put the game together.
Yeah.
And then I go, but I wouldn't be the coach I am today. I wouldn't have had to investigate, I wouldn't have had to learn, I wouldn't have had to study, I wouldn't have had to travel. I would have just been an athlete. Do you know, like, so I like who I am now.
Yeah.
Do you know, I feel like I was born to do what I'm doing now, so... And I look at some of my athletes, I look at my amateurs, and they're better than me up to a major part of my pro career already.
Yeah.
Like, but I think that's across the board. You look at most... So look, if you look at even guys at Fisher's gym, you know, like, guys from the good gyms, the amateurs are at a way higher level than pros from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just how the game's moved on, but also coaching has. Fisher didn't have a coach. Now he is the coach.
Yeah.
So of course his guys are going to be really good.
Yeah.
I didn't have a coach. Now I am the coach, so of course my guys are going to be really good. Davey Grant's now doing a lot of coaching.
Yeah.
Training.
He's opened SBG. Is it Bishop?
He's always kind of coached, but he did a lot of privates. Now he started running classes instead, and he has SBG in Bishop Auckland, and Davey's going to produce guys who are probably better than him.
Yeah.
Because that's just how this works.
I seen on your Instagram as well this morning, Davey back on the pads. Is he looking back into good shape after that horrible injury he sustained in the UFC?
Yeah, he's had a few more little niggles since. He's had a bit of treatment. Now he's good to go for the first time in, I don't know how long ago that was, maybe a year.
Yeah, I think, was it UFC
Manchester and Bisbee for Henderson. Yeah, so I don't even know when that was.
No,
but yeah, Davey's good.
Yeah.
Like, his lifestyle's changed. Do you know, like, it's definitely going to improve the longevity of his career. He's been way smarter, and he's looking after himself a little bit better. I think a lot of it was having to teach a lot of PTs and stuff. It's a big drain on your body. Like, a big drain on your body physically, and I don't think they help the injuries. Running classes, as much as a lot more responsibility, it's a lot less impact. Do you know, like, so Davey's going to be good. I'm not like, I watch a lot of bantamweight fights, and I think Davey's a horrible fight.
Yeah,
I've sparred Davey. He was my training partner for a long time.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, even now, if I was to put some gloves on and spar with him, I'd be thinking, this isn't going to be fun.
No.
Do you know, like, he's a nightmare.
Yeah, he's in. For yourself as well, you got to. Well, you did get the top. Obviously, you got sent to UFC. Then we had what happened there. But the Cage Warriors, I wanted to touch on getting your arm raised for that Cage Warriors title. What was that like? As a sort of.
It was nice, but I'm like a nothing is enough type of guy.
Yeah.
Nothing good is ever good enough. I want better. Do you know, like, it felt good in the moment, and then it was like, what next?
Yeah.
Like, that fight in Cage Warriors was also followed by the period of deepest depression I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. Because
of the Cage Warriors didn't do shows for a while. The what next? Do you know, like?
Yeah.
And like, I wanted more, but I had nowhere to go. Do you know, like?
Yeah. Are you alright to talk about what happened as well with that UFC contract?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
That's for people who don't know, you're right. Just explain a bit about it and sort of.
Yes. So I got called in to fight the UFC in Hamburg. Signed the contract, started cutting weight. It was a short notice fight, and my brain scan comes back, and I had a lesion on my brain stem, and it, in the differential it said either like inflammation or a tumour.
Yeah.
So I had to see a neurologist and neurosurgeon. The first person I was referred to was a neurosurgeon. I was in quite quick to see them. They wanted to do other scans and stuff. And with that, I've talked about this quite a bit, but basically the first scan that I said, okay, well, to see if this is a tumour or not, we have to wait and see if it grows. With it being on my brain stem, one, it's very severe if it was.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be here today if it was, pretty much. I think it's like a couple of years, do you know, like, for that location.
Yeah.
Google told me there was no treatment.
Dr. Google,
And 6 months to find out if I'm going to be okay. It wasn't 6 months to find out if I could fight again. That didn't matter. That was done. And then we got there, and he said, okay, we'll do another scan in another 6 months. And I was like, oh, no. In that time, I seen neurologists as well, and they did a lot of tests on me. I think because it had been like 8 or 9 months, they were comfortable that I showed no symptoms.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that was a big relief. I did have a couple of symptoms, but I know they were on my own head. Do you know, like?
Yeah, they were.
Like, if I got a headache,
Overthinking.
I'm fine. Do you know, like, I'm healthy.
Yeah.
I then got cleared to fight. I took a fight on ACB. But I think even before that fight, I kind of knew. I'd already stepped into coaching full time. Do you know, like, I'd made my decision, but I want to have one more fight. I don't regret that fight, and I'm actually quite content with the result, and the right result happened, because, like everybody, if I'd won, I would have fought again.
Yeah.
Right? And I've watched the fight back, and I can see why someone might give it to him, but I don't think he did anything during the fight. I think I did a lot of the work. I think I did a lot of the work, I think. But guess what? If I'd had my hand raised, I would have fought today, and I wouldn't be the coach I am.
Yeah.
And I would then be hindering people like Adam. Do you know, like my
The
career was
focus
done.
wouldn't be
I
totally
knew
there.
I knew I wasn't going to go back to the UFC. The UFC probably never picked me up.
So what was it? Sorry again. That it came back. That
It's a birthmark.
a birthmark. Yeah.
Or equivalent. They don't think it's anything serious. It's probably going to be there. I'd spoke to someone else actually who failed a boxing medical
All right.
for a lesion the same size in the same area,
Mm-hmm.
and his has been there for 40 years now,
Wow.
or maybe 40 years.
Yeah. That's.
So.
Yeah. I know after the Kane Musa fight as well. You did give a very emotional interview. Was that interview sort of for you then? You knew. I know you said you knew before, but was that definitely then nailed on for you? Like that was focusing full time, or was it a?
I think I even trained for that fight. I had a lot of regrets that I worked 1-to-1 with Adam on a Friday. It's one of the days where he gets a half day at work. And when I was going down to Spa, I wasn't back for that time. And I was thinking, but he's got his career too. And I had an argument in my own head. And I was like, but you need to be selfish. And then I realised, what am I being selfish for? To win money? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything. Like, fighting here and getting more money doesn't mean, to me, never meant more. I was always fighting for my legacy and see how far I could go. And I'd found that level. Unfortunately, I think I could have gone a lot further, but medically I couldn't. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, I don't worry about it at all.
What was that development like going as well from like fighting to the full time coach? And was that a?
Not really that much, because I'd pretty much coached full time while fighting.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, I actually got a little bit more free time the better I got at it, because I learned a lot about business and how to run it, and I wasn't having to work endless hours teaching PTs to people who just want to do one a week and don't actually want to train.
Yeah.
Now my 1-to-1 time I only spend with people where there is a long game. You know, like, I am not just going to come and hold pads for you so you can have a little bit of fun. And my classes, you can come fun and fitness, right?
Yeah.
But the impact on my body and also an hour of my life for someone just to hit some pads isn't really what I want to do. Do you know, like?
So yeah.
So I actually have more free time where I can study, watch fights, look after the guys who want to fight. I can now text one of my fighters, come in, I'll give you an hour here, and just work 1-to-1 with them. Do you know, like? And life's good. Do you know?
Yeah, I know you do quite a bit. You go back down to Manchester, SBG Manchester quite a bit. Saul Rogers, of course, signed with Bellator now as well. That's a good signing for Bellator, isn't it?
Yeah, Saul's arguably the best. Like, he's going to fight a featherweight. He's arguably the best featherweight in the country. Like, he's one of the most uncomfortable rounds of sparring in the world. Saul has one thing that he's very, very, very good at, and he does that thing to everybody. Okay?
Right.
Everybody. You watch how he handled Ryan Hall.
Yeah.
Like, Ryan Hall's one of the best grapplers in MMA. Saul handled him comfortably.
So what's the talent like in Manchester then now down at SBG? Is it a...
Yeah, there's a good mix of very good amateurs to experienced pros. You have Stip Saul.
Yeah.
And then there's guys like Jay and Josh, who are amateurs, Levy, who are all having Jay had his first fight the weekend. Jay's good. He's had about 5 in a couple of fights. Levi is a female. You don't get many girls, and she's good. I watched one of her in the club matches, and she's pretty good. She can do alright. Matt's doing a really good job coaching those guys. And there's a kid, Josh Kelly, down there, and he's not fought yet. And I'm telling you, this kid's going to be special.
Yeah.
Like, Matt's doing a really, really good job with him, and I found something out about him the other day. I don't know if, like, he knows I know this or anyone knows this, but he was just doing the nighttime classes there, and they have the pro team on a morning. And before he was invited to pro team, he was going out running at the same time every day. The pro team was on, just to get him in the mindset of doing that. I think he's done like 8 or 9 years worth of gymnastics.
All right.
And like, I do bits of pads with him, and he's in class, and I watched him, and he's just got it. Do you know, like, if he keeps up with that work ethic, I think he's only 17. He's obviously freakishly strong, beating an ex-gymnast. He's good. He's really good. Like, he's had a few interclub matches, and then he's in with the pro team, and he's getting on the mat, and he's no concerns about sparring guys like Davey Grant. Do you know? Like,
yeah, that's like it.
Like, I think this kid's going to be special. There's a few every now and then that pop up like that, and it's easier for me to say that about athletes at other gyms, even though I just go down there once a week and coach, than it is to say it about my own.
Yeah.
You know, like, you can see it sometimes when it's not too close to home. And I think this kid's got it.
Yeah. So is it once a week, every week then you're going?
I go every Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
and
go
is that
every Tuesday.
Grappling class, a strength class?
It's like a MMA grappling class. It was one of the sessions I used to go down for religiously every week, and I thought I'll go down, I'll coach the first bit, and I'll jump in and roll. And it's just in me. I just love coaching.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, it's a great experience for me to coach sessions with that level of athlete in it. Do you know, like when Stapes is in, Saul's in, who are my peers? Do you know, like like I'm still the training partner, but when I'm running that session, they listen, they learn.
Yeah, that respect.
Yeah, it's really like the first few times I did it was quite daunting.
Yeah, it's like
there's so much they can teach me.
It's like yeah,
like it's not like I know everything. They know. Saul knows way more about wrestling than I'll ever think. Like he's probably forgot more than that. You know, like,
yeah.
Like I roll jiu-jitsu with Stapes. Stapes Brazilian jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. He's an amazing coach. His guys do really well. They have stuff to teach me, but they just listen. And it's really cool. Yeah. But I also miss being on the mat and just going hard. You know, like, and it's hard to do both.
Yeah, hard to go sort of hell for leather with the mat.
And also be like, I struggle to switch my minds. You know, like from coaching to like competitor.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about doing some jiu-jitsu competitions. I really don't like jiu-jitsu. I like the art of jiu-jitsu, but the sport of jiu-jitsu is a bit. I think it's a good way to test around and make sure all my fighters, before they fight, they do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And the reason why is I don't want you to freeze in competition and get punched in the face.
Yeah, and then
you know, like, you don't know how you're going to react when it's for a win.
Yeah.
Like, so.
I know you've spoke a bit as well on about Saul dropping down to feather. We've mentioned weight cut a couple of times. I know when I was starting that article a few months back about it, you were really keen to sort of talk about it.
Yeah.
Where do you think, or what do you think should happen now with weight cutting? Do you think it's a big issue in the sport?
Yes.
And
I think it's a big issue because of lack of education. I think it's a big issue because some people will just let the athletes do it themselves. I think it's a big issue because people are trying to get an incredible advantage or are unhealthy in their normal lifestyle. So, I've got to cut 30 pounds. Well, you don't. You're going to die at 15 off because you're fat.
Yeah.
You know, like, a lot of the time people are talking about cutting weight, and the cut is the last bit.
Mm-hmm.
The diet, well, make that your lifestyle and you won't have as many issues. Do you know, like, I think there's a little bit of that. I also think it can be dangerous, but you have to know where to draw the line. Like, I didn't. When I try to make bantamweight, don't know why. I'm 5'10" and I'm like quite built, and the making weight got pulled from me. Do you know, like, there was issues. I was maybe 0.8 of a pound over, and there was issues with the sauna. That 0.8 of a pound could have killed me. Do you know, like, I had already done a lot of weight.
It's a fine line,
like,
isn't it?
But then when I fought Lobov, I had an injury train for the fight, and I knew I was going to struggle to make weight, and it was like, look, I miss weight by a pound, or I don't fight tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, and I knew that I'd already started to be a little bit more away.
Mm-hmm.
I've done big weight cuts. I've done small weight cuts. They're all tough.
What did you make of Martin Lobov when you were opposite him in the cage? Of course, he's a talented athlete. He's at that level, but like that Conor McGregor sort of hype.
No, he's good. He's his own man. He's his own man. Do you know why? If you look at Adam's record, he's fought who's who in Europe. He gets a lot of stick for having a mixed record, right? But you don't find an easy fight on his resume.
Yeah.
Right? He's a fighter's fighter. He will fight anyone. And people are going, you shouldn't be in the UFC with a record like that. Well, there's people who shouldn't be in the UFC who have padded records.
Yeah.
Alright, Autumn fought Cub Swanson for 5 rounds. Should he not be in the UFC?
Even the caliber, like the UK fighters, you and Fisher, you've both been in there with him, and it's like,
he's fought who's who.
Yeah.
You find a good featherweight or lightweight, Autumn's fought them.
Have you been over to SBG, the island gym? No. Is that something you'd want to go over?
Possibly. I might take Adam for some sparring. There's some good welterweights there.
Yeah. Conor McGregor, I think we can't go without sort of talking about him. Do you think he's had too long out now, and do you think it's time for him to come back, or do you think Conor will do what Conor wants to do?
Conor can do whatever he wants. It's like, he can.
Yeah.
And anyone who says otherwise, no, he should fight the sport, this and that. Look, what would you do in his shoes?
Yeah.
Whatever you want, right? He has all the cards, every single one of them. I do think he can beat Khabib and Ferguson, and I think I would never ever bet against Conor. All right,
Yeah.
even when he fought Floyd, you cannot count him out. He just does it. Okay, and he's his own man.
Who do you have winning between Khabib and Tony?
Khabib,
Yeah.
comfortably.
He's the next. Do you see Khabib as that sort of?
No, I think Khabib is an easier fight for Conor than Tony, and I think Khabib beats Tony 99 times out of 100.
Yeah. Even with the timeout that Conor's had, or
Yeah.
with it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite nice to hear, because I know that there's been a lot of people, especially on social media.
Khabib's good, really good at what he does, and Conor's really good at what he does. And at some period when they fight, Khabib has to cross the border of what Conor does to do what Khabib does.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that happens before Conor has to escape what Khabib does to do what Conor does. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Conor's got a very good chance of beating Khabib, despite me being a very with my approach to martial arts for my personal journey is very grappling based.
Mhm.
I think I'd kind of bet on Conor,
Yeah.
just because that's what happens first. And I think what Conor does is actually a lot of it goes over people's heads. I don't think people realise how good he actually is.
Because of the sort of stardom that surrounds him, do you think that not to the likes of yourself who can see what Conor's doing, but to the sort of general public sort of?
Well, I think the
watching?
general public like him and love him anyway.
Yeah.
The general public don't like Khabib. Do you know,
Yeah. He's.
Khabib's good if you're interested in fighting, because you like the art of fighting.
Yeah.
If you like football and you've got a season ticket, you'll watch Conor.
Yeah.
You're like, everyone will watch Conor.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
many
no,
people
it's-
watched him fight Mayweather?
Yeah. It was a.
It
The
was
pay per views were huge, but then the sort of streams and stuff
Yeah.
was just next level. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous,
So
wasn't
like,
it? Even down from doing that, how good do you think that was for MMA to sort of? I know it was in the spotlight anyway with Conor, but maybe get a couple of sort of crossover fans, people who were watching boxing, and maybe then start coming over. Or
that wouldn't have made people cross over.
no,
Why would it?
not even in the interest
Boxing
of.
purists were against it. Like, I don't think it did anything negative for MMA, but it certainly did for boxing.
For showing them as.
And well, Conor was in there with one of the best in the world. And it's not even the result, right? The fact he managed to get that fight is ridiculous.
Conor's now obviously that he's got that celebrity status now. He does. Looking sort of at a man who's went from having celebrity status into MMA. I know his fight's just been announced with Ash Griffith. We've got Aaron Chalmers.
Yeah.
What do you think he's doing for Northeast MMA in terms of course he's helping with numbers and stuff? And do you like what he's doing? Do you like the way he's on about things?
I don't think Bama would have been at the
Arena. Yeah, Metro Radio Arena. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was called something else there for a second, because sometimes they change name.
Yeah.
Metro Radio Arena had Aaron not been fighting, that wouldn't have happened. That show wouldn't have happened. Okay, and we wouldn't have a big show in the Northeast if Aaron hadn't fought on that card.
Yeah. The step to Bellator now as well for Bellator 200. Do you think that's not premature? Of course, Aaron's going to do numbers wherever he goes, but do you think it's a right move from a business point of view? I think it is, but in terms of,
I don't see Bellator, apart from the top end, being that different from the likes of Bama and Cage Warriors. I don't see it as being that different.
in terms of level, like standard of
Yeah.
fighter, yeah,
At the top, it might be. Even at the top of Cage Warriors and the top of Bama, the level's high.
yeah,
Alright? Narimani's just been signed to the UFC, who is Cage Warriors champion. He's going to do well.
yeah.
He's definitely going to do well. Right? So the level's not that much different. It's just it's global coverage. Bellator is bigger on a global scale because they're a US based show. But are the cards that much better than a good Bama card or a good Cage Warriors card? Not really. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Is Ashcroft as a Bellator fighter? Is he a step up from anybody who would have been on the BAMMA card?
I think only arguably experience-wise, really, isn't it? It's a
He's, what, 5-4?
yeah.
Do you know, like, Bellator's a big show. That's not a big fight. Aaron is a big fighter.
Yeah. How do you see that going down, Aaron?
I think Aaron beats him.
Yeah.
Ash might have won some fights, but he's losing fights for a reason. Aaron's winning fights. And I don't, like, the thing is, right, Aaron's full-time job is a celebrity.
Yeah.
He's not trying to make a living as a fighter. Okay? His full-time job is a celebrity. He gets money from whatever he's doing, you know, like being a Instagram influencer,
Yeah.
you know, all that stuff, right? That he just gets to train because he loves it and he wants to do it and he wants to see how far he can go. Okay? That's a good place to be in.
Yeah.
You know, like,
What do you make of him as a fighter? Like, as a
he's
mixed
alright.
martial artist?
He's alright. He's okay.
Yeah.
He's won him fight by submission. Got some knockouts. He clearly hits hard.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's good for the sport. It's probably better than CM Punk being in the UFC.
Yeah, that's it.
Aaron's at least fighting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's doing a good job of it.
What do you make that CM Punk move on the UFC? Because do you think we're hoping, of course you're never going to get that Brock Lesnar style sort of come in and just bull in a China shop, but do you think the UFC were hoping for a little bit more from CM Punk than what they got?
You don't know what the UFC are going to do. Like, they've got all the money, all the power, they can do what they want. And guess what? That just brought them a little bit more money.
Yeah.
That's all that was about. It's a business move. Had he done well? Great. If he didn't,
Do you think they keep him? Do you think they go for a second
I
fight?
don't know.
or-
It's been a while. Like, at first I was interested. I was like, and then now it's been so long that if they put him on a card, I think people will go, oh,
He's back.
yeah, that.
That novelty's sort of worn off now,
Yeah.
isn't it? Do you think that'll happen with Aaron? Do you think
No.
he'll... No, do you not think he'll get to a
They
stage
win this
where-
fight and there'll be more, and then they might do the baby slice fight on Bellator, do you know, like, and then they're both kind of
Yeah, it looks to be heading that way, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
with this being at a catch weight and then...
It's interesting. I think it's interesting in the sense that it's just different.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, now it might not be as good. So Aaron fighting Ashcroft isn't, or even Aaron fighting that guy who fought on
Carl Donaldson?
yeah, him, isn't on the same level of fight as when Adam fought Nathan Jones.
No.
However, it's interesting. Do you know, like, that's all it is.
Yeah. UTC obviously is training down in Birmingham as well. You've got the Fabian and Leon Edwards. How good do you think they can be?
Leon Edwards is already good.
Yeah, well,
Do you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's already
yeah,
top
UFC
15 in the
signings,
world.
yeah, yeah.
Do you know, like, top 15 in the UFC.
Yeah.
Fabian's good. I think he got caught a little bit in his last fight, and he got rocked, and then arm-locked the guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, it's instinct. Right? Fighting's one thing. You practice skills, you fight on instinct.
Yeah.
And the more you practice, the better your instincts are. It's pretty good, right? If you can do that.
Yeah. If you look now, I know, like we say, Adam's still probably quite a bit off the UFC in terms of that top bracket, but the development, the way he's going, do you see any reason why he can't get to that very, very top level and have that belt?
Yeah, definitely. Like, when I look at Adam's skill set, he's very, very well-rounded. He's tall for a welterweight, and he doesn't have the most talkative personality. Who does it remind you of?
Tom?
Rory McDonald?
Oh, yeah,
Right.
of course, yeah, okay, yeah.
There's
yeah,
a comparison, easy. However, Rory McDonald has a very good skill set, but imagine Rory McDonald with the hindsight of having Rory McDonald to watch. Do you know, like, with
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of welterweights who are Adam's stamp, Adam's build that we can learn from, what they're doing good, but also what they're not doing good. Adam has the potential to go as far as Adam wants to go, and if he doesn't, so what? He's having a good ride.
Yeah,
That's the way. I think too many people think of this as a career, that this is what I'm going to do with my life. Well, I'm going to tell you now, unless you're going to get battered in old age, you're probably going to stop at 35 anyway, right?
Yeah, and then
We're probably going to live into our 90s, right? So you have twice as long as you'd already lived before that career, and maybe 9 times as long as your MMA career to live after this.
yeah,
Do you know, like, stop thinking about it as like a career and this is what I'm going to do with my life. It is a period of your life where you should see how far you should go, have as much fun as you can, enjoy it, test yourself, Like,
how important do you think that enjoyment factor is of sort of
essential? And I am probably the most critical coach, and I have like truth Tourette's where I'll just say something. I'm like, you probably should have made him feel good before you shut him down. And but it's what people need to hear. Do you know, like with the dangers of fighting, people need the truth. They need honesty, right? But I think it's important. Like, if you don't love competition, don't compete. It's okay not to compete. It's okay. Like, my gym's really busy.
Yeah.
Not everyone fights. I'm not even going to say half of them fight. 20%.
Yeah.
What the other 80% do? They love training martial arts. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. If you don't like competition, don't compete. It's code.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're not sure if you like competition, you need a little bit of help, maybe you need some psychology. Maybe you need something else. Maybe you just need to test yourself a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to find the love for it, because it's not a lack of love for competition. It's a fear of competition. You just need to get over that. But if you don't want to love it and you don't do it and you don't enjoy it when it happens, don't do it. It's fine. That's kind of my view on it.
Yeah.
So everyone should be doing this for the love, because the money's terrible.
Yeah.
Money's terrible.
Unless it's that sort of top, well, even that top bracket, I guess it's
like, even top bracket, you're going to retire on the money, live forever. You're not in Premier League football, that money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to buy a house, like a big house, and live off the money that's in the bank for the rest of your life. Like, let's be real. If you made $500,000 fighting, okay, and you didn't spend any of that money, and you didn't pay tax on any of that money, right? That is $50,000 a year for the next 10 years. You're 40 and you're broke.
Yeah, and then what do you
do? You like,
yeah, no, 100%.
So you can invest the money and be smart about it, and it can be the start of your life, but it's only a chapter of your life.
Yeah.
Enjoy that chapter. It's the fun one. I know, like, it's why I'm comfortable moving on to the next one, because I had a good ride.
Yeah, you
I might not have enjoyed it at the time, and I really regret not appreciating it fully, but it was a good ride.
Yeah. What did you make of the UFC with that move when they signed the Reebok deal, which sort of led to, I know there was a few fighters who were that middle to bottom tier, not losing sponsors, but they weren't getting the money they were initially. Do you think that's or do you think people should be in it for the love of fighting, not for money?
I don't think people were getting the sponsor money they were saying they were getting anyway. Like, I've spoken to people who fought in the UFC who had sponsors. There was like some companies who seemed to sponsor everybody, and they were getting like $100, $200. I think you get something like your first fight, but on the 0 to 5 fights, you get $2,500 on top of your purse. What are you whinging about?
Yeah.
Right? So you're getting $2,500 more. Fair enough if you were one of the fortunate few to get, maybe you've got your friend who's got a lot of money, or you end up with a deal with Nike.
Yeah.
That's all right. But what about everyone else? I don't think it's that bad.
No?
No.
Yeah.
Just like, it is what it is. And guess what? You can't do a thing about it anyway, so why are you bitching?
Yeah. Do you think people need to be in MMA for the love of the sport, as opposed to going in and just thinking, oh, I'm going to make it quick?
It's a pursuit of passion, and people keep whinging about this. But if you look at football in the early 1950, 1920, do you know, like around that year, were the professionals getting paid? Or were they all had jobs and then played?
Yeah, playing on the Saturday and working on the Friday, yeah.
Right? So the development of the sport is still in its infancy. Mm-hmm. There's not money for you to go, right, I'm going to quit my job, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be an MMA fighter and live off it. No, get a job, even if it's part-time so you can train more, that's cool, but you have to make a living first. You have to live first. How many gyms do you know that'll let people train free who want to be full-time fighters? Oh. Someone comes to my gym and they're like, can I train for free? I'm going to make you the UFC. I'm going to say, no. You can get a part-time job. Sure, you've got work ethic and pay your way.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
like, it's a pursuit of passion. 100%.
Yeah.
If it's anything less, then maybe sometimes it's also a pursuit of attention. Some people do it just to be seen as a fighter, but each to their own.
Yeah. I know you were saying as well before that when you go down to Manchester, it's easier because it's not your gym to sort of spot these sort of pop out sort of talents they've really got. In terms of the Northeast, I know we've got a couple of really decent gyms around here. Is there any fighters for you that at the minute you're thinking this could...
Pro amateur?
Pro, sorry.
Pro. Cal Elno. Very good.
Yeah, he should be back
very
on the
good,
podcast.
Very intelligent as well.
Yeah.
Quite a smart guy.
Nice lad, yeah.
I think the whole skateboard thing gives them that I don't give a shit attitude as well, which I think helps. I really think that helps. I'm going to go on a limb and say Millard Addy. Now, I watched his last fight and he didn't look that great in the fight, despite
Gilbert, was it?
Yeah, he didn't look that great. The fight, he didn't look amazing in the fight, but he looked phenomenal warming up. I caught him out of the corner of my eye warming up, and I was like, he could actually be really good. I think he's still young. I think he's only like 18.
He's a young lad.
He has potential to be. I was watching one and I was like, if he can do that in there, he'll be really good. Justin Belson, just got a lot of amateur experience. 3-0 now pro. Could do really well. I'm trying. There's a lot. Do you know, like there's a lot of good amateurs as well. Luke Ord's good.
Yeah,
well rounded.
I think Luke's matched on the next made for the cage card as well. The June the 9th card.
Oh yeah, he's fighting one of the Hardwicks.
Yeah, Harry Hardwick, I believe it is. Yeah, that he's got. So
Harry, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It's Harry because he's normally a bantamweight.
Yes, yeah. So, do you think Luke's one of these who? It's a funny one because he's almost not out of the northeast, but he's just at that. Is he Durham?
Yeah, it's still the northeast.
Yeah. No, sorry, not out of the northeast, but like, I feel that Luke deserves a push, but how do you think he gets to that next sort of that level of where Proctor's at in terms of like fan base and things like that? Where do you think Luke would go?
Cage Warriors Obama.
Yeah.
Fight away from home. Has he fought away from home yet?
I don't believe so. I'm not 100%. But
fight away from home. It's like it's something I try to do with all my amateur guys.
Yeah.
Do you just want to be the hometown boy that's brought in to win all the time? Sometimes you got to be brought in to lose. You want to experience that now. Yeah. But imagine you it just only happens on the big show.
What was that like the first time you fought away from home as a pro? Like I know obviously you would have had an amateur, but
it was enjoyable. I fought on Bushido Challenge at the time. I think I was 4-0. Bushido Challenge had done one show previous. This was the second show they were doing. It was in Nottingham, and I fought Dino Gambitesa, who was 6-1. His only loss was a second or maybe third round loss to Brad Pickett, who was fighting in the UFC at the time.
Absolute veteran in the sport, yeah.
And I loved it. It was pretty cool. Like, it's one of those moments that I should have enjoyed more. It just happened so quick.
How much of your fights do you remember, or do you get that wrapped up in the sort of?
Some of them a lot, others not so much, and then as I get older, less and less of the ones that happen. I couldn't even remember some of the guys who I'd fought the other day.
No,
I was like, there was that. Oh, I fought him there. We're talking about a strike and submit, which might be before your time watching MMA.
A little bit, yeah. But no, we'll wrap up here, mate, because I know that you've got. One last question for you: if there was one thing you could change about your career to date, is there anything that you would change? And if there is, what would it be?
No. Why would I have that attitude? Do you know, like, if I had that thought in my head, like, that it would poison me every day, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I try not to live with regrets. Regrets are the things that can wind you up after. Maybe I do more for the sport in the northeast. This is one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit. Is right now, talent wise, we talked about it's great. It's on the up, going to skyrocket. But shows wise, it's in a recession. Northeast MMA is in a bad place in terms of places for guys to fight. I think there's maybe 4 shows in the northeast.
Yeah.
Made for the Cage.
Machine
MMA. Rise and Conquer. Fisher's Rise and Conquer.
Fisher's Rise.
I always forget the names of them.
Roca Rough House.
They do a show of that thing. And then there was Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
2 of 5 cancelled their last show. Not a good time.
Yeah, no, it's...
Alright?
Yeah.
That's not a good time for them. Where do you put guys on? Bama came up here. If Aaron's fighting on Bellator, I'm sceptical if Bama will come back. Cage Warriors haven't came back here.
No, that's been...
Northeast MMA, in promotions wise, is on the downside. Is on a bit of a slide.
Is there a way you can see that changing, or...?
IMF based club amateur shows, but amateur boxing, which I think would be a good way to do it. The club runs shows 2 a year, and they all support each other and work together as a community.
Yeah.
And then have big pro shows come. And I'll have pro promoters who do pro cards.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. But I think it's so difficult to get guys the amount of fights they need as an amateur now. And we're behind the US big time.
Yeah.
Guys are having 15, 20, 30 amateur fights in the US. People are having 2 or 3 here, and most of them are against journeymen.
Yeah, and then...
Or cans, do you know, like...
Yeah. Do you think that's important as well? Not even the number of fights, but the standard of fighter that they're fighting at amateur level before the turn pro?
Yeah, I think that's bad here. I think, right, this is one way they can fix it. You would probably need a governing body to do it, but blood test for all amateur fighters, if they could be done cheap enough, brain scans. That gets rid of all those who are turning up for £50 or £100 to save the show. Okay. Now, I've taken these fights before in the past, where your opponent's pulled out on the day and you get this nugget.
Yeah.
I won't let one of my guys fight that. I don't care how many tickets I've sold. They can stand on the door and give people the ticket money back, right? If they don't want to watch the rest of the card,
Yeah.
rather than fight a nugget. I'd just rather not do it. It's a waste of a fight. You fight 2 nuggets, you're 2-0. You fight against a guy 2-0 who's fought 2 good fights.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, do you know, like it's that. I would
Yeah.
get rid of all the nuggets, brain scans or blood tests, something just where they have to pay a one-off yearly fee to fight, right? And guess what? To most people, that wouldn't be a problem. Have you seen jiu-jitsu? It's £50 for a competition.
Yeah.
If I say £100 a year to be registered with the UKMMA, right, and £50 to register, and then £30 for a blood pack to get your bloods tested, and then you can fight amateur and all UKMMA or whatever it is shows for a year. That would help UKMMA. It would also help us develop better amateurs, which means we get better pros, which means you get more world champions from the UK.
Yeah. And better shows as well, ultimately,
Yeah.
regionally and
Yeah,
nationally.
better
as well.
fights.
Yeah.
Right, better fights. How many times have you been to a show where there's been a few dropouts and you watch? You go, I've seen him before, 40 seconds.
Yeah.
I do it myself. Like I've been, it happens all over the country. Do you know, like we've had people on shows in Manchester and it's happened. I'm like, right, Mitch, you're going to be on soon. These next 3 fights, they're all nuggets.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, and the promoter obviously has to sell tickets, but it's just not good for the sport. Do you know, like, I think that's the biggest issue with UKMMA right now.
Spot on. Thank you very much again, Alex, for your time.
That's all right.
Is there any sponsors or anything, or anybody classes, anything
No,
you want to shout out?
I'm retired.
No, I mean, shout
no.
out your gym or anything, or...
Yeah, so Northeast, most guys train at good gyms. There's a lot of good gyms. You know, like I could name them all. You know, like there's some very good coaches in Northeast. That's one thing. There's a lot of guys who are from my era who now run gyms. So the coaching is on the rise, right? You can name retired guys: Fisher, Pete, Shaj and Sham. I don't know they're still fighting, but they're all coaching now, and they're from my era where we taught ourselves. All right, or similar.
Yeah.
So most people in the Northeast who are probably going to listen to this are already touched gyms. Guys who aren't, or guys from out of town. Anybody out of town. So we've got a guy from Bournemouth just came. He was like, "Oh, how much is it training jiu-jitsu for 3 weeks? I'm just home." I was like, "Free. Don't worry about it. Just come."
Yeah.
So if you're from out of town, you want to come train jiu-jitsu or MMA, my gym's free for drop-ins. If you pretend you're from out of town and you're there for 6 months, well, then you're going to have to sign up for a membership.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to come and train with me, I'm very limited on my time for private tuition. I do it, but I only do it for my members.
In terms of contacting your Facebook page,
SouthShieldsMMA.com.
There you go, spot on.
Even if you train at a different gym, look, this is one thing that gets people down. I've had people come from other gyms and like, "Oh, I don't want such and such phone." I'm like, "Why?" I said, "Look, there's 2 shops near mine. Okay, there's a Nissan and a Cost Cutter.
Yeah.
If I go to Nissan instead of Cost Cutter for my bottle of milk, right? They can't whinge.
Yeah.
I can buy my milk where I want. If I want to learn martial arts and I want to try somewhere else, I can do what I want, right? Loyalty only goes as far as if one of them sells a better product or I get fresher milk, then that gives me a reason to be loyal, right? I make sure that One of the reasons I encourage loyalty is I offer the best training that I can every single session, and the next one's going to be even better because every day I try and get 1% better at coaching while I make my athletes 1% better at fighting, right? So loyalty is the biggest, loyalty is the biggest bullshit thing in martial arts, full stop. You get karate gyms that tie people down and you can never leave and try anywhere else. Do you know, like, if anyone wants to come train at my gym, that's cool. If any of my guys want to go and train somewhere else's gym, that is cool. That is what they want to do, and that is their life. That's one of the things I like at. So if there is someone from another gym and they're from one of the smaller gyms, and like, oh, I want to go there, but I'm worried about my coach thinks. Stop worrying what your coach thinks. Do what you want. Your coach should be worrying about you and doing a better job.
Spot on, and there it is. Thank you very much again, mate, for your time.